Hey, what's up you guys? You're watching Team APS Plus. I'm Paul, and I'm doing what I hope to be the first of many Q&A videos here on this channel. I want to turn this into a monthly thing. So I asked over on the community tab of Team APS for you guys' questions. I'm going to pick out a few of them, answer them, and yeah. It's just me today. Hopefully in future ones I'll be able to get a few more APS members, but yeah, that way you can get more perspective. But yeah, let's start with the first question from Stardust Dragon AMV Maker. What a name. I miss AMVs. YouTube decided to show me this twice, so I must ask, why is Terrell the best member? You know what? No respect for you. No, I'm just kidding. Terrell's really cool. Everyone's got their favorite APS member. It doesn't have to be me. I'm not bitter. In all seriousness, do you think the TCG will ever need an anime to promote it, or are we out of that era forever? Really good question, honestly. I think that an anime, I feel that the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime and like GX are obviously the really strong ones. That's the ones that most people's memories are attached to. There's a reason Konami makes loads of, like Dark Magician and Blue Eyes products, because those are the monsters everyone recognizes, the characters. And I do think that like the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime, by 4 kids, for better or worse, was like a lightning in a bottle moment that made Yu-Gi-Oh a bit of a like sort of pop culture just phenomenon. And the recent anime just haven't been able to capture that. A, because they don't get dubbed quickly enough, and B, they just, like anything, newer renditions of stuff tend to get less popular over time. I feel that the characters and like just kind of the stories maybe don't have as much charm to the average person. I think Yu-Gi-Oh's fine without an anime right now. I mean, like, I remember before COVID hit, like YCS numbers were growing, and now with like Master Duel out, a lot more people are interested in the game. So I don't think that it has to have an anime. I think that it can kind of survive just on its legacy alone. But I tell you, it would be really cool if they did a reboot of the original anime. I've always thought that would be super sick. You could either remaster it, or you could completely kind of redo it from the ground up, integrate maybe some of the darker themes from the Japanese version of the show that got like censored by 4 kids. You don't have to do all of them, like kind of a better mix to more accurately tell the story and portray the themes. But you could also still keep awesome voice actors like Dan Green and Eric Stewart if you can get them again. I think that would be cool. Like normies could get into it, but then also like Yu-Gi-Oh fans could appreciate it. And it'd be a fun time to sell more Blue Eyes and Dark Magician merchandise. Okay, next question from Rafiki Speaks. When and how did Team APS form? I've been following you guys for many years and realized I never actually know the story. I know this is more or less Paul's brainchild, but how do the other members come to be? And are we going to see more from Victor? Okay, so yeah, I want to do a full-on video where everybody can kind of explain their input on this themselves in more detail. But the long and short of it is basically I started this channel in like 2010, late 2009, early 2010. Just making videos by myself. I would kind of record deck profiles or whatever in my room. If I got packs, I'd open them. And when I would go to the local card shop, I would just ask people for deck profiles, record whatever, that sort of thing. And over time, I've just met people. I met Trell. He came from a neighboring card shop and would occasionally visit. That was a lot of fun. I met Calvin and Chris. They actually messaged me. So my channel had been around for a while, and they actually messaged me on YouTube back when YouTube had a messaging feature. And they messaged me, and they're like, hey, where's this card shop located? And I told them, and they came, and then we became friends ever since. I met Alec and Alex in college. They were my first roommates. And then I met Larry fairly recently in the last few years, and he was just a fun Yu-Gi-Oh friend. So yeah, like I said, I'll let them explain that in more detail at a later date, but that's kind of the gist of how it was. I pretty much just play Yu-Gi-Oh, make friends, and then invite them to be like, hey, you want to be in this video? We can talk about a Yu-Gi-Oh thing or whatever, and then they're on for the ride, and here we are. As for Victor, he's basically just he's a friend of ours. He's been around as really just a graphic designer. He designed this really awesome new Team APS series of merch. If you guys want to check that out, links in the description. And he does stuff like, stream overlays, certain assets for like thumbnails and videos. Like he did the UI for that recent video that we did about like if Yu-Gi-Oh was a video game. So yeah, he's really talented at stuff like that. He does not play Yu-Gi-Oh and doesn't really want to learn it. So I wouldn't expect to see him like doing too much in the way of duels, but he has been in a couple of videos. We did a video where he showed how he organized all like 35,000 of our Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't see how he can do that. He is very into organizing, and he can like sit down and do tasks like that. And he has them like neatly organized to a T. He's almost done with it. And he's been in a video where we tried to teach him how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, so that was something. So yeah, you might see him from here and there, but yeah, he's not really like a Yu-Gi-Oh player in the traditional sense. Okay, next question is from Beetle2. I got a question. With all the Yu-Gi-Oh content you guys do you ever feel burned out and don't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh for a bit? All the time. Yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh is a lot of fun, but making content about it can definitely, I don't want to say like ruin it for you, but it can be a little bit overbearing. Sometimes you feel that you're so exposed to the game that you legitimately like don't want to like necessarily be around it all the time, because it's like I read comments about Yu-Gi-Oh every day. I have to think about Yu-Gi-Oh every day. I have to like write videos and I have to edit videos and I have to just, I'm so into it that it can actually sort of make me not enjoy certain aspects of the game, because I feel like I know everything and I feel like I see everything. And so I have taken breaks. We've all taken a few breaks. Sometimes I take just like a week or two off from making content, sometimes longer, and also from playing the game as well. More of my breaks recently have just kind of been because COVID cut out the like real life events, so there's not as much to do in that regard. But yeah, like it's never anything like super long term. I wouldn't say like I hate Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just, I think that happens with almost anything that you like. You find yourself needing a break from it every now and again. So yes, very good question. I do take breaks. What's something about Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently? This is from James Austin. What's something about Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently that you like, and one thing you'd want to change about the game in any capacity? That could be specific cards, rules, formats, etc. So something that I like about Yu-Gi-Oh! There is an archetype for everyone, whether you're looking for like a different theme or a different play style. I think that Yu-Gi-Oh! Offers dozens and dozens and dozens of just different archetypes. If you're into like any interest at all, like in just some type of mythology, some type of robots or machines, dragons, spellcasters, like there's so many different things. So like if I like water decks, there's like 10 gazillion different water decks I can play. If I like spellcasters, there's like 10 gazillion spellcaster decks I can play. If I like ancient whatever, like there's just something for everyone. And you'll be hard pressed not to find an archetype that speaks to you, either in terms of its play style or in terms of its art or just whatever. But yeah, something I want to change about the game, and it seems like this is something that they are trying to change, is just more formats for more people to be able to play the game in a like low stakes environment. I've always felt that, advanced format being the only real way to play, the only real like kind of way to compete, can feel a little bit overbearing, because if you're not playing expensive cards and meta decks, it's like not always very inviting. So I'm hoping that those new formats that Konami recently announced, like the Time Wizard format, the Common Charity, the Heart of the Underdog format, can be something that really take off at the local level and the players can have a lot of fun with, so that you don't feel like you have to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Just one way. Because so many other card games have that. Magic and Pokemon have it. I'm very shocked that Yu-Gi-Oh! Hasn't tried it sooner. I know it can be pretty difficult to implement that stuff, and it still remains to be seen if that'll even go well, but I'm hoping that it can. Let's see, next question is from EA Ace. What's your saddest Yu-Gi-Oh! Story? And one day I'd like to see you guys play Magic the Gathering. Magic, fun fact, is the only card game I have never played. I guess there's several I haven't played, but it's the only major TCG that I've never played. Saddest Yu-Gi-Oh! Story? Oh, man, this one breaks my heart. So when I first got back into Yu-Gi-Oh!, because like I played Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2002 like everybody, and I think I quit around maybe 2004 or 5. When I got back into Yu-Gi-Oh!, it was like 2000 and maybe 8 or 9, and I first found out about like the idea of local card shops and stuff. So I went to a local card shop and got my binder stolen. I was a kid, I was like 12 or something at the time, and it really sucked. I was sad. I was like trying to ask everybody at the card shop for like, hey, have you seen this binder? Hey, have you seen this? Can you look for this for me? And I don't know, when I look back at it, I just feel terrible, because like someone took that stuff, and I'll just, if you're a kid, you're just so vulnerable, and it just makes me feel sad. I think the thing I hated the most about it, and this is like a real, I think that just the week or so before, my grandmother had bought me a Yu-Gi-Oh! Pack at Walmart, and I actually pulled like a super or an ultra rare card. I think the pack I'd bought was like Crossroads of Chaos maybe, and I'd pulled a Synchro. I don't remember the name of the Synchro monster anymore, but one of those, like Splendid Rose or just something like that. And I was like really excited because, you're a kid, you don't get to buy packs very often. And when you do, you usually don't pull anything great. So I'd pulled like this super, this ultra rare, whatever. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to slip it in my binder before I go to this card shop for the first time. Maybe I can trade it. And my binder got stolen, and it was sad. So yeah, as of that point forward, I've become a very firm advocate for not stealing from kids, not ripping kids off at card shops. It doesn't make you cool if you trade the kid a Blue Eyes for his like $100 pot of prosperity or whatever. Don't do that. Not a good thing. Okay. Draw Two Cards asks, what made you get into Yu-Gi-Oh? Has there ever been moments where you considered stop playing? Yeah, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh from the show. It's something that I think applies to most of us. I mentioned before, and that was like in 2002. So like the original, like anime, Duelist Kingdom, all that. And yeah, I haven't. I mean, I've actually not. There've been like stretches of time when I haven't played. I think the biggest time when I explicitly quit was, I think in 2011, I sold all of the cards I had to buy a PS3. And I didn't play Yu-Gi-Oh for a good 2-3 years after that. And then I kind of started to just slowly find my way back into it. So there's that. I think that, as I always say, because I have so many friends who play Yu-Gi-Oh, it's hard to completely stop. But yeah. All right. Sheng Allen Zen asks, if you could make one change to make the game more accessible for new players, what would it be? I kind of already answered this with the other question, but definitely the alternative formats. I think that Yu-Gi-Oh's got to have more ways for people to get into this game and not feel so overwhelmed. But if I had to kind of change like a product or something, I actually think that they should revamp structure decks and make them a little bit more like how Pokemon and certain other games do it, where like either I think like starter decks should be like cheaper, like Vanguard Overdress does a really good job of this. The starter decks are like $3.99. Or they should make starter decks like $20, but include like a full side deck and extra deck in them to really get players started. Because when I look at like structure decks or whatever, they're fine. You can buy 3 of them and like kind of compete. But I think that it would be cool to get players into the idea of side decking and like kind of having a full set of extra deck options. You don't have to like include, lightning storms and evenly matched or whatever in the side decks, but at least like give people twin twisters and like kaijus, just basic side deck things that they can apply to a lot of different matchups. And maybe throw a playmat or whatever and some sleeves in there, make it a whole starter kit. I think that would make it like an easy one-stop shop to like get into Yu-Gi-Oh! So that'd be pretty cool. Equivalent Exchange, your favorite duels from the OG series, like a top 10. Well, I can't do a top 10 right now, but I know that my very #1 favorite duel in the entire not Duelist Kingdom arc, but Duel Monsters arc, is Yugi vs. Kaiba Battle City semifinals. It's one of the few duels in the anime that actually sort of feels like a duel should. Like it's less about drama and more about actual back and forth card strategy. So for me, I really enjoyed that. And thematically, I like that even though Yugi and Kaiba both summon their god cards in that duel, the duel itself ends with more of a Dark Magician like versus Blue Eyes sort of thing, where they make Dark Paladin and it's a whole thing. So yeah, that was easily my favorite. Kevin Hino, let's see. Kevin Hinohasa asks, if you guys could collaborate with anyone else on YouTube, who would it be and why? There's plenty of people. I've collabed with other YouTubers quite a bit. Done some stuff with DZ, done some stuff with Team Sam, done some stuff with Farfa. But I think if I wanted to expand out into more people, so I've collabed with Tolarian Community College on Magic the Gathering. I think it'd be fun to collaborate with somebody on the Pokemon end of the spectrum, Leon Hart, PokeRev. There's some gaming channels in general that I really like. Afro Senju, Rhyme Style. Everybody always says we should collab with RDC World, so hopefully that happens one day. I have been to DreamCon and chatted with them a little bit, so maybe it could happen one day. If you guys want that type of stuff to happen, just tag us on like Twitter or whatever alongside your favorite content creator you want us to collab with, and maybe we can get a conversation going. We're certainly forming some ideas. Andre Kuiper asked, do you guys play Master Duel? And if yes, are there any Master Duel videos coming? So yeah, we've been playing loads of Master Duel. I've been enjoying it. I think everybody on the team at this point has played it or is playing it currently. Really fun game, really great visual presentation. I love the music of the game. It feels really epic and fun. Currently, it's a little bit lacking in content. I know people have been talking about that. I, for one, have been enjoying it still, but I like that it's like not too money hungry on you, at least not yet. And we actually have been streaming it a whole bunch over on APS Duel Terminal, which is our newest channel. It's where we do all of our Yu-Gi-Oh! Game streaming. We stream Duel Links, we stream Master Duel. I haven't talked about that channel enough, so head on over there, check it out, subscribe. Calvin and Alex do most of the streaming on there. I pop up from time to time. You might see some other faces. We would love to get some more subscribers and channel members and stuff on there and grow the streams. So yeah, check it out. I'll have a link in the description, of course, have it pop up on screen. The works. But yes, Master Duel is an awesome game. It's a lot of fun. If you aren't playing it, give it a shot. JQ the King, when will you start a podcast? Honestly, I would not mind the idea of a podcast. It's just that I don't really think I want to be the one to do it. Like, I've got a lot of stuff to say about Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's the tricky thing with podcasts is that it's very long-form content. So typically they don't do all that well on YouTube in terms of views and stuff. And not a lot of people necessarily are ready to like tune into like an hour or two of just Yu-Gi-Oh talk. I would love to be invited onto podcasts instead, like being a guest seems like that would be fun, but I just got a lot on my plate right now to add another thing to the mix. So maybe I'll try to show up on some other people's podcasts. I've seen a few other YouTubers doing them. I saw the Cali Effect has like a podcast sort of series he's had, so maybe I could show up on that. That might be fun, but a podcast myself, not right now. All right, so those are the questions, at least for this time. Hopefully, like I said, we can do this every month. So make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I actually want to not only make Q&A as a normal thing, but also other little small segments and really grow this channel. For a long time, it's just been sort of like fun, behind the scenes-y, kind of low effort stuff. But hopefully we can get some more meaningful content on here and it'll be worth you guys' time. So definitely subscribe. Check out some of the other videos here. Subscribe to APS Duel Terminal. Like I said, that's the gaming channel. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Fast turn.